Hi everyone, I'm Sarah at Childhood Finds. Thank you for joining me for the weekly What Sold video. We are looking at October 27th through November 2nd of 2025. And the sales I have to share with you today are actually pretty pitiful. It has honestly been one of my worst weeks all year. I had a day where I sold absolutely nothing. And it's been a pretty big disappointment. I must say, for this fourth quarter, it has not been what I was hoping it would be. I am down in fourth quarter from last year, and I was really hoping to meet a lot of goals this year. I've been really working all year towards this, so it's a pretty big disappointment. But with reselling, that just happens sometimes. That is what I wanted to talk about, is that sometimes with reselling, there are lots of ups and downs, and you just have to be prepared that sometimes your sales are going to suck. No matter how long you've been doing this or how good your inventory, sometimes the buyers just aren't there right then. And that's just something you just have to work through and keep pushing and then hope it gets better. I'm still making money, but it's definitely not what I need. But I'm listing more this week. I'm trying to get good value items up there. I'm trying to get items that I think will be good for the holiday shopping season. So I'm trying to do all the things I need to do to keep moving forward in Q4. Let me know, how are your Q4 sales going in the comments? Are they everything you hoped for? Are they exceeding expectations? Are they kind of a disappointment? I am right now in the disappointment area, but that could always change. And that's what I'm going to keep trying to work towards. I've also just had a hard week in general, just in my emotions and mental health wise. I struggle around the holidays. My last holiday season was not one that I want to relive. So it's not a time of year I love. It's a time of year that's a little hard on me. So I am just trying to do other things that I enjoy. I'm taking my dogs out every day, and then I have a cat that I've been feeding, guys, and it's finally like letting me love it. I can go out and click in the mornings and it'll come running, and it's just been the most delightful thing. We still have our moments. There's still moments where she decides that if you touch me again, I'm going to hurt you. But most of the time she's coming and rubbing on my legs. And so that's what I can tell you guys, is find the little things that are going to make you stay positive, because sometimes it can just get really hard with reselling and disappointing, not what you want it to be, but it usually comes back around. Usually it'll improve. And that's what I'm hoping for. I've got decent inventory. I've got decent inventory listed, and I'm cross listing more. Even though cross listing sales aren't going perfect, I'm still doing that more. And I'm seeing an improvement on other things. So, guys, that all being said, let's get started on some sales. I had around 50 listings sell this week for around 1,800 in gross sales. And that was on all of my platforms. Even I did a Facebook Marketplace local, because I will admit I have not been doing Facebook Marketplace local because I just haven't had the desire to interact with human beings. And I know that sounds terrible, but sometimes when my battery gets empty, I just can't. I can't interact. And that's why if you sent me messages or comments and I don't respond, usually that's what's happened. I have hit my limit and I just need to reset a little, which I'm trying to do this week. But I do have a gun show again this week to work with my dad's estate, so there might not be a lot of time for resetting, but we're going to try. So, guys, let's get started on sharing some sales. I have a couple decent dollar sales, so that helped with the week. This is a Stephen King The Stand Complete Uncut Bonded Leather Collectible Edition, and this one sold for a best offer of $69. This is one I probably would have kept, but I got it at a rummage sale for $1. This is a Michael Kors Black Snake Skin Print Shoulder Bag Purse Tote Gold Tone Hardware, and I took a best offer of $38. I'm just taking a lot of offers right now. Pretty much if I get a kind of decent offer, I'm taking it right now. This is a Chinese cloisonne round lidded jar, trinket box, food dog, finial. And I got this at an estate sale for $5 and sold it for a best offer of $60. It's been listed for probably at least a year now, and $60 is one of the most decent offers I've gotten for it. And the next 2 lots went to the same buyer. This is lot of 8 Topsy-Turvy Bug Stephen Cosgrove hardcover picture books. And there's 2 stories because you flip it over and then you can read the other story from the backside. And this sold for $35.95. That buyer also came and bought this second lot I had of these. So kids books can be worth it depending on what they are, and lots are always pretty good for them. This is Dakin or Dakeen. I don't know. I only know the plush is Dakin. And this is Gore-Tex Snow Bib men's size XL. And it sold for the $89.96. This is HP 206A LaserJet toner cartridge. And it sold for $49.95. Again, you price these toner cartridges well and they're going to sell. This is Bellingore 100% Angora rabbit fur yarn, and it sold for the sale price of $35.96. And I think I'm just going to start another sale this week because I think that's what I'm going to need to do to get my stuff moving because my sale ended a couple days ago. This is Turnaround Proven Strategies for Your Breakthrough by John Hamill, and it was new and sealed. I got it at Salvation Army for, I think, $1, and it sold for $13.45. This was a cool little book. It's How to Abandon Ship, Richards and Bannigan, first edition, World War II Nautical Survival Guide, and it sold for a best offer of $20. This is Fontanini Donkey Mule 12-inch scale nativity figurine, and I'm hoping the rest of these sell for this Christmas season, and that's why I'm taking offers for them. I might lower the prices on some of the other ones just because I've had these listed since February, and it's time for them to get their new home. And this sold for a best offer of $75. And I think it ended up being $11 into each one of these. This is Jumbo Yarn Loops and Threads Free Spirit White Yarn. This stuff was thick. This was a huge ball of yarn. And it sold for the $22.95. And I got it at the Goodwill, I think, for $4.99 or $3.99. This is Brass Vases Etched Flower Frog Incense Bowl Floral Design Home Decor Lot. They were all matching, so I just put them all together, and I got these at an estate sale, kind of yard sale, for a few dollars for all of them, and took a best offer of $25. This is Franklin Library Greatest Books 20th Century Basic Works Sigmund Freud, and it sold for $34.95. I've enjoyed these Franklin Library books because I've had some very sassy other booksellers message me telling me I need to give them all these pictures and all these things. And then when I go and look at their listings, because they're selling what they're trying to buy from me, they don't do what they're asking for. So it's fine. Like, I don't mind if people want to buy from my store and can resell it. But I'm not going to go to all the work of the pictures because I know they're going to offer me less than I am asking. And all of these books are basically in near perfect condition, and if they weren't, I pictured that, so I just kind of didn't want to take 20 pictures a book, although I usually would for single items. This is a new with tag Serena and Lily Miramonte pillow cover, and it's a 22 by 22. I sold 2 of these to one buyer for $75 together, and then I actually just sold the other one this week because I had 3 of these total, but who knew pillow covers could be worth so much? This is Toll Santa Barbara, lot of 4 teaspoons, and it sold for the $29.66. This is Gans Webkins Reindeer Plush, and I love picking up Webkins, but even with the tag, some of them are worth this much. And this sold for $7.15, and it probably took a year or 2 to sell at least, maybe 2. The manual sales have definitely slowed down. I still have quite a few left, but going a little slower now. This is a 1965 Buick All Models Body Service Manual Repair Shop book, and it sold for $14.95. The next 2 went to the same buyer. This is Gorham Golden Ribbon Edge Pattern Stainless Dinner Knives, and it was 6 of them that sold for $14.95. And then that buyer also came and bought 4 dinner forks for $39.95. This is definitely one of the more valuable patterns from Gorham. This is Royal Albert Old Country Roses, and these are the candle holders. I have talked about Old Country Roses. It's definitely a pattern to keep out an eye for. and there's lots of different pieces of it. This one sold for $27 on a best offer, and I got these for $2 at a yard sale. This is Aero Ski Fitness Machine Virtual Reality Lenses Goggles Unused for Smartphone. And this sold for $28.95. This went with a exercise equipment machine. This is Buttercup Coupe Cereal Bowl Spode set of 4, and they sold for a best offer of $40. This is Nature Aquarium Complete Works, 1985 to 2009. This is why it's worth it to look at some of those coffee table books, because this doesn't look like anything particularly special, but it ended up selling for a best offer of $100. And then this I got at a thrift store, and it's a Disney Store Pixar Gabby plush, Toy Story 4. I don't know if the name is Gabby or I just put Gabby twice. Did I watch Toy Story 4? I feel like I might have. Is that the sad one? But this sold for $15.26. This is JCPenney Home Collection, lot of 2 valances and 1 drapery panel floral design. My mother-in-law bought a set of comforter, etc., and this just came in the bag with it, and she didn't want them, so I took them to sell, so it didn't have any cost into them. So it sold for $25 on Poshmark. Then this sold on Etsy, and it's a Dakin German Shepherd Puppy Dog Plush Stuffed Animal 15-inch Realistic. And this sold for $21.95, and I already got really nice feedback from the buyer. It feels better now that I've built up my feedback on Etsy, Depop, on Mercari and Poshmark. It feels nice to have my feedback built up now, so that if I get a bad one at some point, it won't hurt it too much. Though Poshmark doesn't show the bad ones, I believe. I believe they hide them. But that sold for $21.95. I got it, I think, for a couple of dollars. This came from my buckle buy, and this is a Jim Beam 1993 limited edition Sour Mash Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey Belt Buckle. And this sold on Depop, and luckily I had 2 of these and put the other one on right after this one sold, because it had a lot of interest on Depop. They like this kind of stuff. And then I had 2 sell on Marketplace. I'm going to try to do better at Marketplace. I just haven't had the desire to do it. But both of them were Galileo glass thermometers. This one sold for $20, and then this one here sold for $30. So guys, that's pretty much all I have to share with you this week. I'm really hoping this next week picks up, because it's just not what I was hoping for. I am going to be doing a gun show this weekend for my dad's estate items, so that'll help maybe move some of that more, and I'm just going to keep pushing forward and see what I can do. So everybody, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.